Good morning, traders. So how do we trade the Dow Jones today? So we're still using the Bill Williams strategy. And, on the daily, there's a couple of things going on. So from a price action perspective, a range day, so in other words, an up and down day, and we close pretty flat. This really indicates a lot of indecision here. And you can see that we are lining up with a pretty strong level. Okay, so you can see all these inside tails here. There's an inside tail there. Some more over here. So that was, you can see the profit taking happened there. And the entry at the bottom here was pretty spot on as well. So what's worrying me though is that the oscillator is grouped to the upside. And you can see every time we've grouped to the upside, pretty much this entire year, we've had some sort of a sell-off. Okay, now obviously I would prefer the volatility to look like this and not these massive flipping bars that we've got at the moment. But we're gonna have to trade this as is. The other thing that we've got here is we do have we haven't gone red on the awesome oscillator, so the buyers are still in place. I think the trick here is what's going to happen today. Now, if we get down to the 4 hour, a couple of things at play here. We came down and we tested the 200 moving average. Okay, so we broke through it, came back and we tested it. And then we rallied pretty hard, but we sold off again. Now, the big question here is, have we come back to test this break? So if I put another level in here, okay, so that was a breakout. That's now our inside bar or inside tail. And look to the left, it lines up with those there and lines up with this one here. So the question is, have we broken back below it? And are we now looking to roll? So this could very well be an exhaustion bar. So in other words, we rallied to the underside here. We didn't get to the level where you can see where all these sellers were in, which probably more than likely lines up somewhere along the line. As there it is there. So there's my inside tail. There's my inside tails there. There's another inside tail there. If you go even further left, you'll see inside tail, inside tail, inside tail. So you can see this was a level, but this was a stronger level. So we hit this level, bounced off it, but when you get these small little candles like this, you're pretty much convinced that it's a bit of a retracement, and you've got to look where the most likely area is for it to get in, and that would have been the 200 moving average. Okay, so problem on the 4 hour is oscillators all grouped to the upside, but the trend is still firmly to the upside. If we look at the 1 hour, trend is still firmly to the upside. Alligator is starting to come close together. And if you look at what happened yesterday, we were just floating down, and we're still kind of floating down at the moment. So, this could just be a bit of a consolidation. And I think the trick here is whether we can get above this level here of 25,394. And at this stage, we are below it and just hovering around it. Okay. So the nice thing about this pattern is that we do have some fractals that have been formed now. Now, I'm not too worried about this fractal here because the stuff that's formed after hours on the Dow really plays out unless we are trending fairly strongly. So you can see yesterday, we were just like all over the place. If you manage to get in on this 4 hour 200 EMA as a long, you would have taken profit at that level because it's a fairly significant level. So what we see at the moment, we've got an inside bar off the level, okay, and now we've gone sideways. So for me at this stage, I think I'll just wait for the US Open. There is potential for something brewing, I am worried about looking at a long. I have a feeling we're going to either consolidate or we're going to have a bit of a pullback as profit taking steps in at the end of the week. So if we just have a look at the week, you'll see we've got this massive big inside bar at the moment. Okay, so this in itself, with what's going on at the bottom here, is pretty much a signal that we have potential to the upside. But this could also just be a retest of the break of the alligator, and then next week we start moving back down. Okay, I think the other thing to bear in mind, that was the original trend line there. We broke through it, we broke back up, we broke down. We are either breaking back above it or we are testing it. Okay, and that lines up pretty much with the daily as well. You've rallied, indecision bar here. Okay, look at the oscillator, group to the top. So this is indicating that we have a potential move to the downside brewing. Now, what I do want to just check here, so let's just get rid of all of that. So bear in mind we were talking about this measured move that, it's rare that these things don't play out. So that is my target for the measured move. Now the big question here is, if this is a top, would that, no, it doesn't quite, but it would line up with something. No, it doesn't. Okay. Kind of lines up with a few things here, but nothing really that stands out. So, scrap that idea. But yeah, I'm again not in. I'm not entirely convinced. I mean, even looking at the half hour, you see how you would have expected to be able to take a long off here because you had a fairly strong trend up and you had a bit of a rally, but then immediately would have been stopped out. Looking for that 200 EMA, which is pretty much, that's now the level there. That's my inside tail there. So that is a level I need to watch. Okay, yeah, so there, nothing really to write home about here. I have a feeling this is going to be like a typical Friday with just some sideways action at the moment. So it's looking like I'm going to be taking a long weekend at this stage. It's nothing really that's exciting me. This level here does sort of interest me at the moment, and obviously this fractal here is going to interest me as well. So this has broken up through the consolidation, it's come back. So I should be looking at longs, but just looking at that daily, I'm not entirely convinced that's the right thing to do. Okay, I'd probably feel a lot more comfortable with a deeper pullback before another assault at getting through this level of 25500. Let's just say 25500. Yeah, that's going to round it off nicely up. 25,500. That's the area that we need to get through. And at this stage, with that indecision bar, if we do pull back, we do break below the low of yesterday, that would give us a pullback of the height of the range bar. It's kind of down to there. Let's just see what is there. And there are some inside tails here. There's one, there's one, there's one, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one. So I would actually just tie it up with that there. Okay, so that's kind of the view that I've got right now. I would like to see a pullback And the other thing that we want to have happen here, oh, that's a bit too far, but there is another one here. Okay, that's still far away. Okay, so that's kind of what I would expect. Just looking at what I can see is my bias would be more to the downside to come and test this 200 daily EMA. Okay, I pretty much that's going to be tested again. It's very rare that we have a breakthrough that just runs away. Okay, you see how it tests this thing. This has been pretty volatile the last 2 weeks. Well, we're not weeks, we're months, right? Daily, yeah. The last 2 months has been extremely volatile. So, but yeah, so I think those are the two levels that I'm going to be watching today. Just before we close off, let's just look at two different other strategies. Bollinger Bands first. Okay, Bollinger Bands on the daily. So we are flat in the Bollinger, not pointing up, not pointing down. Oscillators are flat as well. We are slightly above the 20, which is fairly positive sign. A lot of people trade the 20 moving average. So again, those two levels, the break of the high of yesterday or the low of yesterday, is pretty much what's going to dictate on a Bollinger. We do have potential for a Bollinger M top. Okay, oscillators grip to the upside as well. A bit of diversions here on the oscillators, so not entirely convincing. Obviously, based on this, again, would be a break below that level there, which is the low of yesterday. Again, so that's the same story at the moment. And let's just put that level in as well. Okay, an M top basically closed outside the Bollinger back, and then we close inside the Bollinger. So a break below this is what brings into play. And then we had a bit of a squeeze. We broke up out the Bollinger, back in, and now we're going sideways again. Nothing really to read in here. I would have thought that the squeeze with this break would have played out, but it's not really, nothing really there. Okay, nothing, bit of a squeeze on the half hour here, didn't really play out either. Okay, so nothing really to read into that on the Bollinger. If we come to the ichimoku, we'll start at the half hour. We have had a bullish crossover. Cloud is green, but the cloud is very small and it's getting close together here. Oscillators grip to the upside. This is starting to signal a short. There we had a crossover, positive bullish crossover. Cloud is very strong, so that is indicating a long on the 1 hour, indicating the trend is still up and there's no reason, although your stop would be moved up below these tails here. Okay, so your stop would be moved up sort of to this level here. That's just below Kijinsen. And if we look at the 4 hour, so the 4 hour has broken through the cloud. But remember, when we do break through the cloud, you always expect a retest of that break. So you would expect it to come and test the cloud. Maybe not now. It could just go sideways and then fall off early in the week and then trigger along. So at the moment, we broke through the cloud, which is bullish. We've got a twist. So everything's pretty bullish there. On the daily, have a look where we bounced off, right off the cloud. Okay. And you can see we still have a bearish crossover here. And we've rallied to there. So looking at the daily, this is indicating more downside to come. Okay. On the weekly, nothing really except for the fact that Kijinsen here is definitely the level where the sellers are coming in. Okay, so we've broken below Kijinsen and now the sellers are here. So pretty much mixed bag. There are some long signals, there are some short signals, and one thing I can tell you is that if we do break below this area here, we're in for probably a pretty long bear run. So you can see how the weekly, you can see how the last year we just stayed above sort of Dickinson and Kijinson, and there was no reason to get out of any trades last year, so long as they were long. Okay, the year before was a little bit more volatile, but you still had it, and this year has been total chaos. Anyway, so what are we looking at the moment? Pretty much confused, I think. So my bias is still up at the moment. I mean, until we really break below this the Bill Williams alligator here, my bias is still the upside. And if you are sitting long at the moment, if you managed to get in the other day, there's still no reason to get out. But I would be looking at a stop below this level at this stage. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm going to trade today. So, but if I do, I'll just drop a comment into the video if I see something through the day. So just keep an eye out for that. But for now, I think this level here is the one that you need to watch the upside, 25360, and this is the level you need to watch the downside, 25226. But just bear in mind that the trend is up at this stage. Okay, and I'd probably wait for Europe to open, see what happens there, or even just wait for the US Open and trade it at that point. Don't be surprised if we just continue meandering for the rest of the week. Anyway, guys, no, that doesn't help you much, but I think I'll just take a long weekend. I'm not going to bother with this. So I hope it helps, and I will catch you later. Cheers for now.